I've been chasing this dream of being UFC world champion ever since I was like 13. Blacked out SUV comes rolling up next to me. It rolls down the window as Nate Diaz.
Shut up.
Nothing else mattered except for fighting. I got to be the best in the world. Like, I got to be working harder than anybody ever.
I beat guys that are bigger than me, better than me, more skilled than me, just because I was like meaner or more determined or like willing to go where they weren't, you know?
So today, ladies and gentlemen, we got great guests to the YB Normal Show. We're so excited. We got Mr. Evan Elder, man. Thank you for joining us, and pleasure, buddy.
Man, it's great to be here. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, absolutely. So we got, as always, Mr. Joe Schilling here with us again, the man. So Evan, let's dive off into your career a little bit, man. Talk to the people. Kind of what's been going on with you.
I'm currently a lightweight in the UFC. Been in the UFC for pulling up on 4 years now. And, I've been chasing this dream of being UFC world champion ever since I was like 13. I mean, really, to take it all the way back, I mean, I've had this dream on my heart since I was like 6 years old. We've been talking about faith before the podcast. Absolutely, and stuff. Bro. So, me and my stepdad, we used to always watch the fights together. We'd sit on the couch and be like, oh man, imagine if that was you up there one day. And literally like right away, I remember just being super, super young and just like, it just made so much sense. Like, oh yeah, that's what God wants me to do. Like, that's like, I'm going to be UFC world champion. And so ever since then, it's been a quest, to hunt down this UFC gold. And nothing's really changed since then. But, fast forward, I didn't actually start training until I was 13, is whenever my school first started off in wrestling, 7th grade. So my dad wanted me to wrestle before we got into MMA. He just never trained himself or anything, but he was just a big fight fan. And he was like, them wrestlers got stuff figured out. Like,
yeah. He watched a couple of the first UFCs like, no, you need to wrestle. Yeah. I must have missed that memo when I was growing up because I went the other way.
That's awesome.
So 7th grade is whenever Hillsborough, Missouri, shout out to Hillsborough, Missouri. We were talking about Missouri before this.
Yes, we were.
And it's funny too, because actually before, if you go watch like almost any of my fights, whenever they're announcing me, I'll always be like, Hillsborough, Missouri, baby, represent. Like, that's like, I take so much pride in being from Hillsborough. So
shout out to Hillsborough,
Mizzou. Shout out to Hillsborough.
Mizzou, bro. What is it in Hillsborough?
Not much. Yeah. Like,
just badasses.
I've gotten to travel quite a bit now and, meet so many different people and stuff. Man, I came from a town full of like great people. Like, seriously, man, I am so blessed with the amount of great people that God's put in my life. And I really believe like that's a big part of what has always inspired me and motivated me to be, try to be my best is like to want to give back. I've always understood, even if it was just like innate, maybe it wasn't like a conscious understanding, but like, man, I am unbelievably lucky to have like great people in my life. So I've always wanted to, put on for them and let them know that, they took care of the right dude and to make it and be able to give back. I can't wait to be able to do a lot of good stuff, go back to Hillsborough and, hopefully do some cool stuff.
Well, I think for, talking to you obviously before we even got on camera here, it's, your faith, man, is inspiring. It's fantastic. It's coming from some of the depths I've had in my life now, walking in my faith again and just understanding that everything's centered around that. It's just opened up my eyes to so many deficiencies that I've had when I don't want to become. And, hearing your stories and you go on, different shows and talking about that faith just inspires me. Having a son going, look, you can still be a badass and still love God too. So that's a big testament to you and to Hillsborough, Missouri for raising a good man out there. So a lot of love there, man.
Yeah, a lot of love for especially, my family, man. I've, given me by far the most important thing that I could have ever asked for is just like an incredible amount of love. And that's what's really, like I was saying, kind of inspired me to be great because I was like, man, I got, such good people around me. I want to take care of them. So here we are all these years later, fast forward, started wrestling 13, wrestled 7th and 8th grade year, did pretty well. And actually I was at a wrestling tournament and getting beat up. I was okay. I wasn't very good at all. But I just always outworked people. I'd always just get my freaking face smushed into the mat for 2.5 rounds and people would get exhausted and I'd pin them, I was never very good.
It's probably that blue blood Missouri coming at you, that blue collar, man.
That's I don't even really like to believe in talent. I really believe that like everything is within your control.
Absolutely.
I feel like a lot of times people will take the easy way out by being like, oh, I'm not talented, or this guy got a better hand of cards than I did. You know, I would be that good too if, you know, I had his circumstances. And it's
a lot of ifs in there.
a lot of ifs and a lot of excuses, a lot of reasons for why you're not trying your best right now.
You had said that you weren't that good, but you were doing all right because you were just stubborn, right?
Mm-hmm.
And like, you can teach somebody to be good. You can't teach them to be stubborn. You can't teach them to have that wherewithal to get where they want to get, you know. It's a thing that I still see in you training today, is you still have that, which is fucking invaluable, you know, in this game to me anyway, you know.
Well, that mentality, I think, just in life generally, just going in, I think so many people and having sons as we do, you know, so many kids go into this thinking, you know, I got to be like this. Quit comparing yourselves to other people. If you get your ass in there and you work hard, the one thing I love is hard work beats talent every single day of its
so
life.
Cliche, but it is. Like, I beat guys that are bigger than me, better than me, more skilled than me, just because I was like meaner or more determined, or like, you know, hard.
Yeah, I didn't go to Harvard or Yale.
You know?
Take that education and shove it up your ass. I'm from the school of the hard knocks. I love
Let's
it.
go.
Tell the truth, be honest, and work your ass off, you know, and you can still do all that with faith, showing, you know, your kids you love them, showing them true love, because we live in an ugly world that we're all afraid of as fathers and brothers and sisters, and no matter what town we live in. I mean, those are all things. We face real adversity in this country right now, and so I love the fact that men are, you know, going in their faith, and that we still can talk to men like they're men and say, hey, you got to bust your ass in life if you want something. Nobody's going to give you shit. If you want shit, you're going to get shit.
Man, I actually, to go back to the wrestling real quick, because you almost said a quote that I've lived my life by. One of my very first wrestling tournaments ever. So rewind even a little bit further. I vividly remember the reason I brought up the talent thing is because I've always been like, I can't believe in talent. I'm not talented. I'm like, that would immediately disqualify me from being great. I would be like, oh, well, I guess I just didn't get those cards. But I'm like, that stuff's made up. Like, you got to earn that stuff. Nothing's given.
I love that, brother.
You're going to earn everything. So that's why I've always been like, screw talent, whatever that is. You did something along the way to earn those skills.
Yeah.
And anyways, I remember my first couple days at wrestling practice, all my buddies just freaking beating the crap out of me. And I just remember thinking, oh, wow, I'm really bad at this. Like, I'm just going to have to work way harder than everybody else. But I was so okay with it. I was like, oh, I just got to outwork
Kind of feels good.
Yeah, that makes sense. And my very first wrestling tournament ever, I walked into the high school. I don't remember. I've thought about this a lot. I don't remember what school it was, but I walked in, and in the wrestling room, we had to go get weighed in and everything. On the way to the wrestling room, they had hard work beats talent when talent doesn't work hard. And I was like, oh, that's my motto. Like, yeah, I just got to outwork everybody always. Like, that's going to be my thing. Like, if there is a such thing as talent, some of these people are super crazy skilled and they just get it. And I don't. I'm just like, oh, I just got to work harder than they. Eventually I will outwork you. I'll catch you, and then you're never going to be able to catch up to me once I pass you.
That's the way it goes. That's the thing I think people understand. It's when you're climbing the mountain, everybody goes, I've climbed the mountain, I'm done. You got to start building another mountain. Because the more separation you can create becomes that work ethic starts to show up every day at the office or shows up in the ring. It just shows up where talent doesn't show up all the time. Guy with talent can have an off night here or there, but you got a guy that's hungry that works hard. It's going to be hard to beat that sumbitch every single day, because every day you're getting somebody determined every single day you wake up. And that becomes tiring for a lot of people. So for you, to be able to now, you go from that wrestling background, now you're in the UFC. You can't remember what high school you wrestled in because you're in arenas now. So that's got to be, pretty wild for yourself.
I can remember what high school I wrestled in. I wrestled in Hillsborough for sure.
No, yours. I'm saying your first match.
The CTE hasn't gotten that bad yet. It's coming. That's the future.
What school was I in? No, I hope that's not the future. I hope that.
Pray to God, man.
Yeah, pray to God, man. We'll be all right. We'll be okay.
Next, we're going to talk about defense, the importance of defense.
Keep your hands up, kid. Don't get old.
Yeah, don't get old.
Don't get old. That's been the moral of the story.
So you wrestled in high school, or not high school, what did you say, 8th grade?
7th and 8th.
7th and 8th grade.
And then I wrestled my freshman year, beginning of my sophomore year. I freaking destroyed my ankle in a wrestling match. First year, I was actually even doing good. I think I was, started the season off pretty well.
That work ethic starting to pay off now.
Yeah.
Started to get to high school, yeah.
Yep. Started to finally kind of put some stuff together. Second period, I went to go hit a stand up and the kid had his hands clasped behind me. I was trying to get away and I kind of stepped funny and he pulled me down over my leg and just freaking blew out my ankle, and long recovery from that. But the next season, it put me out the whole season. Next season, whenever I came back, our wrestling coach had retired. And they put in our head football coach, and no knock against him. He was doing the best he could. He was a football coach, not a wrestling coach. But pretty much the whole practice was just 2 hours of conditioning because he wasn't a wrestler really. So he was learning on the job. And anyways, a lot of the team kind of quit and fell off. And I would just started training martial arts at the time, or mixed martial arts, and so I was like, man, I'm gonna quit wrestling. I'm just gonna pursue MMA full time. So that's whenever I stopped wrestling. Unfortunately, I wouldn't change anything about my story. I'm glad that I'm super happy with where I am now, and blessed to be freaking training with the best coach I've ever had. So, but
is he talking about you, Joe?
I think so.
Wow, that was a shout out to the Schilling boy.
Definitely talking about
I'm better than that football coach.
Call me the big tune of Parcells over here. I love it. So I know Joe had some wonderful things to talk about, with you. He said he is one bad dude.
Oh.
And getting to meet you and knowing a couple guys in the fight game, it's really hard for the average person. Your average listener at home to be like, man, these guys they're so nice and calm. They are, because they're badasses for real. They're not the guys that show up to the parties and want to start the fights. This is what they do to make a living. So, with that, I know there's been encounters with other people where the average human being just can't understand that there's people out there that do this for a living. So they watch it on TV like you did as a kid and go, well, I can do that. No, you can't. Remember, I don't care how much talent you got. I've been training for 20 years now.
Yeah.
So that's a fascinating deal.
I mean, all the intricacies of like all the detail. It's so easy to think that even at a high level, I mean, it's like, oh, I got this. Like, I know how to throw a jab. Like, I learned that day one. And it's like, dude, I always say, I use this analogy, this joke of like, me and Floyd Mayweather both have a jab. And that shit is not the same. It's not. It's like that, me being able to say like, oh, I know a jab. It's like, you know a jab. Like, what do you mean you know a jab? Because
that's some scary shit,
dude. It's and that's like the refinement of a single skill, just sharpening over and over and over and over, and understanding every single little intricacy of like, being so deeply aware of your body mechanics and like what has to happen, what's going to be the follow-up sequence. Like, why would this, throwing it this way work better than that way? It's just, man, it's so much more than, the tough dude walking in the gym thinking like, oh, I can do this. Like, what are you talking about? I can do that too. Man,
I think so. That's how my 16-year-old kid's starting to talk. And I'm thinking, man, I'm going to have to call Uncle Joe up. So what's going to happen? I might get my ass whipped. I don't want to do that.
So you wrestled and until then, and then you started training martial arts. What made you walk into that gym that day, or what was the thing?
Actually, I was at a wrestling tournament, and my stepdad that I was talking about was there hollering for me. I think I was not doing well. I was getting beat up, and but just refused to quit. Just always, just trying to freaking. That's been like my biggest thing ever since I started anything. Was just like, just never give up. Like.
Was that I'm sorry to interrupt you, but was that something that you came up with on your own, or was that something that your stepdad instilled on you? Like, did you always know that, or was that something that you had to be taught? Like, just don't fucking give up, don't quit.
I feel like I have a couple really hardworking family members that I always looked up to that were just fucking worked, like they really worked and worked hard at everything they did. And so I've always had a good example of that, of like what it means to like actually work hard. And because I think that's something that kind of gets misunderstood a lot of times. Like a lot of times, especially right now, unfortunately, because we live in such comfortable times, our standard or bar of like what hard work is so low. People are like, oh, I'm trying my best. And it's like, no, you need to get around some people that are really trying their best, and you're going to figure out like, oh, I'm not trying at all.
Yeah.
Like I thought I was trying hard. And then you see what's actually possible. And you're like, oh, I'm definitely not trying to the degree in which these other people are. But I've had a couple of great role models that really did show me like hard work, what that even means.
The value of a dollar.
And I think the never giving up thing was just kind of always made sense. We can get it. We'll talk way more about faith later on, but
right.
I think it's one of those kind of like intrinsic truths that we inherently know of, like, if you're really looking for the truth, you'll know, like, oh yeah, you have to never give up. Like, that's just like
ingrained.
if you quit, then you're definitely going to lose. Well, the opposite of that would be to never quit, to never give up. So, that just kind of always made sense to me. And, that's been like the foundation of like everything I try to do is just like, bro, just try again, just go again.
It's a pretty fucking great foundation of anything.
I would agree. I think every kid at home needs to listen to that. You know, if you don't want cracks in your life, you build a strong foundation through faith, through hard work.
Just not giving up.
Do not give up on yourself or your faith. I'm going to tell you what, look at yourself in 20 years from now, based on those two values, hard work and your faith. Don't compare yourself to anybody else. Just see what happens in your life. And I promise you, beautiful things will come out of hard work and faith.
Yeah.
There's nothing that you cannot be successful with. And we've talked about that off air. And obviously, you know, you've been busting your ass enough to get to the point you're at now. And I know you're not done. I look at you, I'm like, this dude is just getting warmed up. Dude, which is so exciting to see.
I legitimately, like, I really feel like we're just getting started. Like, I literally feel like I just started learning for real. I really feel like my whole entire life up until this point was like the warm up. Like, okay, now you're ready to actually start going. Like, you know, now you're prepared to start doing the real learning and making exponential progress. There's a quote that I love that's like, the only sustainable advantage you have over an adversary is the ability to progress faster than they can. And it's basically just saying that, like, if you are able to get better faster than anybody else,
Adapt.
It's only a matter of time before you pass everything.
Adapt.
And I've always thought of like trying to be the most getting betterest motherfucker that I can be. like just every single day is just like, okay, how can I get better?
We should make that a t-shirt. Evan Elder is the most getting better motherfucker.
I love that. You know, I mean, as Joe, I mean, as you've watched, obviously, the growth. I mean, to see that fire and that hunger that you look at when you see this fucker, it's like, dude, you're looking at a world champion here. And I can't tell you how excited I am to not only have you on the show, but I see the fire in you, dude, just the aura. I'm like, you're different, dude. I've been around some of these dudes. You got a different aura.
Thank you.
And I'm telling you right now, I look forward, and you can bet your ass I will be there the first time you get in there and fight for that world championship. I can guarantee that.
Yeah,
it's going to happen one day.
I appreciate it, man.
His next fight is his first fight back since his injury, and we're about to go on a run. We were talking about that right before he got injured, and it's even more clear to me than it was then. It's gonna be shocking when people see it. It's gonna be sick.
That's awesome.
It's gonna be awesome.
Yeah, it'll be cool, man. I'm super excited. I feel like I feel like a lot of success is exponential. You know, it's really, you know, once you've learned how to recreate and, you know, recreate success and understand what actually makes you better, and learning how to learn, which seems kind of silly, you know, to learn how to learn, but it's really important. I think a lot of people don't really put too much emphasis or focus on like actually learning. So they just go in, they rely solely on the hard work to where they go in and they, you know, maybe you're beating your head against the wall every day, and that's the hard work, but you're not actually doing the, Henry Ford has a quote that's like, the hardest work of all is thinking. That's why so few people do it. And that really is like, that's the real hard work. It's like, it's at a certain point, especially in what we do, working hard physically becomes like the standard. Like, you don't even get patted on the back for that. Like, why would you? That's like,
I'm a
do you
man.
know what you signed up for? Like,
right.
that's expected.
It's really about retaining. It's like, let's not waste this fucking whole day that we just trained on this thing if you're not going to retain it tomorrow. And that's the thinking part. And that's you have to absorb and you know, reflect on what's going on all the time. You do an excellent job of that. Just an excellent job of that.
Thank you. But yeah, I think that, you know, all that kind of ties back together, the learning how to learn and, you know, being able to progress faster than everybody else. You know, I'm definitely not the best and didn't come from like, I wasn't, you know, an elite level, you know, D1 wrestler or anything like that. Just always kind of been trying to
busting your ass
to figure it out. And now I think I'm finally, you know, in a position and in a place where, you know, everything's kind of starting to come together, and I'm starting to see a lot of that exponential growth, and it's gonna be it's gonna be a good year.
So you wrestled, then the football coach happens. You decide, you know, I'm going to try this mixed martial arts.
Yeah, so I was getting beat up at a wrestling tournament, and my stepdad's hollering for me, and this MMA coach seen him, and his son, he was there coaching his son wrestling, he came over to my dad. He's like, hey, is that your kid? And he's like, yeah. He's like, man, he's not that good, but man, he sure does not quit.
Other kid's dad. Your kid sucks,
the most coaching compliment ever. You know?
Yeah, it's like he's man, he's a little clueless, but he's got heart. But he was an owner of an MMA gym, and he's like, man, has he ever thought about doing MMA? And he's like, oh, that's actually the whole reason he's wrestling in the first place. And he was like, oh, well, you should come down and check out our gym. And it was 21st Century Self-Defense in Pacific, Missouri. And so the next day we went down there and checked it. Dude, the coolest time of my whole life. It was, it was just a circuit day of like bag work and like burpees and box jumps and hard work, like just hard work. And at the time I thought that was like, that's everything you possibly need to be the best in the world. And I was sold. I was like, bro, I don't want to do anything else other than this. Unfortunately, that was like an hour and a half away from where we lived. And my dad's like, man, I can't drive you there all the time, coming from work and everything else. So he was like, let's just find the closest one. What's the closest gym we got to us? So that's how I ended up at Han MMA in Festus, Missouri. I was there for about 5 years. Then I was doing pretty well. Had my third amateur fight and I lost. I ended up losing to a guy that ended up being in the UFC. And that was kind of the kick in the ass that I needed to be like, hey man, you say you want to do this, like if you really want to do this, like you say you want to do this, like you need to get out of here and go pursue the best training in the world, not just like locally. And so I was planning on just packing up my car and driving out to California. I was so young and dumb and naive that I was just like, California is a big state. It's got to have good training. And I figured I would just pack up my car. All great champions do that. I'm like, dude, how many success stories you hear of people living out of their cars?
Yes, I did. That's what I did. Same story.
Yeah.
Insane.
Same story. Did you always know California? Like, I don't know if like when I was a kid, like where I got it from, but I kind of always knew it was going to be California and I don't know where that was. I'm curious if you had that same, or did you just pick California randomly?
I think it was just because it was like, the Californication, like it was like California to the rest of the world is like, that's like the place. That's like the place in the world to be. And I was like, well, if I'm going to try to go get the best training in the world, I wasn't smart enough at the time to like actually do real research and like put real thought into it.
What'd you say gas was? Oh, shit. Well, cost of living?
Where am I going to live? How am I going to get there?
But I've also always believed that if you never give up, God's going to make a way.
For
like,
sure.
So
Amen.
I was like, oh, I don't have to figure that out. Like, it doesn't matter. It's like, this is what he put on my heart. I just make sure to go do that. And somehow it's going to fall together.
So not to jump subjects, but you talk about God a lot. And then knowing you personally, I know you have a really strong faith in God. But was your family religious? Were you raised religion, or is that something you found on your own?
A little bit of both. My immediate family was not very, we went to church for like the big holidays and stuff. I feel like, I feel like, we might've been a little bit consistent here and there, but for the most part, it was really just like Easter and Christmas. I do have some people in my family that are like super strong in their faith. All the grandmas. I have a big split up family and a bunch of bonus family, and every single one of the grandmas that's actually really hilarious. Every single one of the grandmas that I have in my family are like devout Christians.
Do they like each other or no?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Okay. Everybody's cool. Yeah.
Everybody's cool.
Now think about life right now, the world we live in now with the women, the ideas of what are important to them now versus like the grandmas. I miss my grandmas because it was like there's only so much love you can give, and grandmas always gave you that advice, or your faith. There was nothing else like you could do in their eyes that was that bad. And I didn't understand my faith or what my grandparents or grandmas were even talking about until I went down my journey. And I was like, no wonder they prayed every single day, because now I don't feel like I have to. It just happens. It's like, man, no wonder they're the happiest people ever.
Yep.
I mean, I get it now. Finally, at 45 years old, I'm like, grandma was right this whole time. Good Lord, bud.
It's so funny. I feel like every deep truth is like very paradoxical. Of like the most right thing we could do in the world is like to try to figure everything out and solve as much as possible. That way we're as prepared as we could possibly be for any possible situation or scenario. And then the paradox to that is like, or you could just totally let go and be like, I really don't need to figure any of it out, because me surrendering to God and just trusting the plan, somehow everything's going to work out anyways.
It does.
And it does. It really does. But so to go back to what you were saying, Joe, or the question was, about my faith. My immediate family wasn't like very practicing. Like I said, we went to church here and there, but I did know some like really strong believers. So I'd always heard about God. I've heard of God ever since I was young, and it made sense. I was just like, how else we get here? but fast forward to getting down to Killcliff. Unless you want me to fill
Let's get to Killcliff first. Yeah. So you drive out to California. Some really good stories here. Let's get some
yeah.
I love it because it's so similar to my story, which is kind of crazy to me. But yeah, so you drive out west. You take Route 66 or what? You drive all the way out,
dude. I don't even know.
Because he's up in Missouri.
I just tipped down.
I came from Ohio, so it was 66 all the way out.
Bro, I mean, you took the old school way, bro.
So I was just turned 19. I had my third amateur fight, and it was like 4 days after my 19th birthday or something like that. It was really short after, because actually, funny enough, birthday happened, and I was not disciplined with my diet, and everybody got me a bunch of candy. Actually, they called me the candy man at my the gym that I was training at, because every single day I'd show up with a bag of candy and a 44-ounce soda.
Side note, as a coach, I can say this guy is ripped, but he's a fat kid stuck in like a X-Men's body.
Yeah.
Like this dude,
he does look almost like an X-Men character.
So
dude.
excited when he talks
Double E now, dude. The X-Man, dude.
Like, if you play this back, you saw his face light up when he started talking about what he got for his birthday.
It's hilarious. It's just funny to me because now I'm like, I definitely have some like really bad, deeply ingrained bad eating habits, from like, I had the worst mentality whenever I was younger. Thank God I had this mentality of like, just work as hard as you possibly can.
Eat whatever you want.
And I was just like, I've always thought about being undeniable. Work as hard as you possibly can and treat everybody good. And there should be nothing that gets in your way. But I also was like, I don't need to learn anything. I didn't care at all about school or anything like that. I was like, I'm gonna be the best fighter in the world. Everything else is gonna take care of itself. So I never learned about nutrition or like, eating good, none of that stuff. I just thought if I showed up to the gym and worked my ass off, that God would take care of the rest. And so I would show up to the gym, 44-ounce soda and a bag of candy. And as soon as I leave, I'd go get another soda and a bag of candy. And
dude, that's gnarly. Oh my God.
Freaking coked out off of sugar.
I'm not certain he's not doing that still. I mean, he acts like it was a thing in the past, but I'm like,
I feel like the way he's talking right now, that was literally happening this morning.
It might be a big gulp in his car right now.
Don't go look. Don't go check. No, I don't drink. I never drink soda or nothing anymore.
I keep getting you off track. All right, we drove out to California. 19
packed up. I was like, man, I need to get out of here if I want to go pursue this dream. I was about to just pack up my car, head out west, and figure it out. Figured all great champions lived out of their car at some point. And by the grace of God, I had some family friends that were already living out in California, and they heard that I was wanting to move out there. And they're like, hey, we got an extra room if you want to come stay with us. Shout out to the Castlemans.
And there's no city at this point, right? You're just going to go to California?
No, I was just going to drive around. And my plan was I'll just buy a gym membership, and that way I, shower and stuff.
And he's just going to find he's going to find the best training in the world once he gets to California.
Outside of Whiskey Go-Go's.
No. We'll find it.
Outside of Whiskey Go-Go's, dude. Sunset.
But I would just bounce around until, I felt like I found the right gym. And then luckily it got narrowed down for me. I was that family, the family friends of mine were like, hey, we live in Stockton, California, and I was like, oh, the Diaz brothers. So I looked it up and they were like 3 miles away from the Diaz Academy. I was like, oh, well, that answered that question. Didn't have to figure it out. And so I actually, right before I was about to leave, everybody in my family was like, you should like call out there and like make sure they'll let you train and stuff. And I was like, be undeniable. If I treat everybody well and I work as hard as I possibly can, I pay whatever they ask me to pay. Like, why would I not be able to train anywhere? But
that's wild. That's a leap of faith, bro. That is crazy. That's awesome though. Awesome?
This story gets exponentially better. Just keep going.
Too dumb to know any better. So
and those are the two dudes.
So I mean, I was like, I looked it up. They're 3 miles away from the gym, and my family was like, man, you should call out there and make sure. And I was like, dude, they probably get 1 million calls a day. This was after Nate choked out Connor. They blew up, and man, they probably get 1 million calls a day of tough guys that want to come out and be the next big thing. I was like, I'm not going to be just another guy that calls and waste their time. I'll just show up and do the thing. And so super, fast forward, you drive out there, And I get there and the gym's closed. And so I was like waiting outside the gym for hours for almost a whole week at a time.
Just stalking the gym.
Yeah, I was like, dude, I just uprooted my whole life to come train at this gym and it's not even open. And I seen them post on like their Instagram and stuff like they were there. So I was like, they got to be here. So I'm sitting out the side of the gym, just waiting. I'm sitting outside the gym, just waiting for people to show up so I can be like, hey, you know, my name's Evan Elder. I just moved out here. I'm trying to pursue my dream. And nothing ever happened. So I started just messaging everybody on Instagram that was tagged in any of their posts. And I said exactly, I was like, hey, my name's Evan Elder. I'm 19. I just moved out here from Missouri. You know, I was trying to chase my dream of being a UFC world champion. I was hoping to train with you guys. Seems like the gym shut down. And finally, one of the guys got back to me and he was like, oh yeah, we're just, the gym's moving. We're going to be shut down for a couple months. Go train at this other gym down the road. Oh man. I don't even know if I've ever told you this. I don't even, man, this is, it'll probably make it less believable because I don't remember the address. I do remember it now. 407 West Main Street.
Rain Man in studio, dude.
The gym that he was like, hey, the gym's closed. Go train at this other gym down the street. It was another Gracie fighter in Manteca. And with Darren Cooley. Did you ever know Darren?
I probably
Darren
do.
Cooley.
I'm terrible with names.
Really good jiu-jitsu guy. And anyways, I show up to this little bitty hole in the wall gym, 407 West Main Street, the exact same address as my gym that I'd been at my whole life back home. And I was just like, again, it was just like, oh, God sent me here. Like
that's so awesome.
Just a little God wink, you know, God confirming that like, hey, you're on the right path. Like I got you where you need to be.
It gets even better.
And so I train at this gym waiting for Nate's gym to open up. It was a Nick Diaz Academy, but it was Nate's gym. And they were, you know, under construction, moving the gym and everything. So I'm training with Darren Cooley at this Gracie fighter Manteca and was there for a couple months. I met a guy named Rudy. Rudy was friends with Nate and I was lifting at like a small local gym called In Shape. Rudy would work out with Nate at In Shape. Every once in a while I would run into him. So he introduced me to Nate like 3 or 4 times, you know, less than a handful of times I got to like actually meet Nate in person, which to me was the most insane thing ever. He was like the first big name fighter I've ever met, which was like unreal.
Imagine, right? Like you drove out, you packed your car. I'm not going to call. God's going to let this work out for me. You get there and then all of a sudden it's in Stockton. You actually met Nate Diaz. Like it's got to be, you know, you're hoping that it's going to work out. And then you start getting these little moments of like, yep, you're on the right track. Yep. Same address. Yep. Like this is going
confirmation of faith.
Confirmation, you know?
Confirmation of faith, man.
And this is Joe, we were kind of having this conversation earlier. This is a good example of how all these confirmations I have, looking back now, hindsight's always 20/20, right? It's easy to look back in reverse and be like, oh my God, all the signs were there the whole time. And
they are though, bro. They're always there. We just don't see them. You just got to get good at seeing them.
Yep. 100%. I really believe that God's constantly reaching out to us in every single instance and every single day. God is trying to call out to us. And it's like, if we just have the awareness to actually perceive, you know, but anyways, you know, you were talking about all these things going right. Like I'm getting all these confirmations like this, and this. But eventually it really felt like it wasn't going right at all. It had been a couple months since I had been out there and I'm not even training at the right gym. I'm not training at the gym that I was, you know, at the Diaz brothers gym. It was just a small little hole in the wall gym with a small group. And my money was like super low. I was like super broke. I was waiting to get a job because I didn't want to I had no idea when the Nate gym was going to open. So I didn't know the schedule.
How are you going to stalk the parking lot if he's got a job? You know?
Yeah, exactly. I was like, dude, this is the only mission. So, I didn't get a job because I was waiting. I didn't want to get a new job and then the gym open up and then their schedule kind of clash and me be like, hey, you know, I know I'm brand new here, but can I like, you know, can you give me these certain hours? Schedule. Yeah. And so I was like, oh, I'll just write it out until the gym opens. And before I knew it, I had $0 and I was pulling into In-N-Out Burger one day. I was paying for I had change saved up in a Pringles jar and I was paying for In-N-Out Burgers with just change. I freaking ripped my my tire on the curb and it dented my rim and everything, messed it all up. And that was like my breaking point. I was just like, man, I've been out here freaking months, not training at the gym I wanted to. I saved up. I worked so hard, saved up this money to come out here. it's like, felt like everything fell apart. I was like, dude, now I don't have the money. I'm calling home. I'm like, man, I trashed my tire. If I can just get the money, I'm gonna just go back home. Like I tried, I'll go back home and figure it out. I wasn't giving up, but I was giving up on California. I was like, okay, maybe this wasn't the plan. And, I was sitting at the mechanic waiting for my freaking tire to get changed. They had to order a rim and everything, fix the rim and order a tire. And I was telling the girl I was dating at the time, I was talking to her on the phone, and I was just like, told her I was like, man, I'm throwing in the towel. Like I'm giving up. Like I'm coming home. I'm gonna as soon as I get this tire changed, I'm gonna figure it out and just freaking get back home. She's like, don't give up yet. You're probably just freaking out and stressed out. Just get outside, go for a walk, like go clear your mind. I'm like, I got nothing else to do. I'm sitting at the freaking mechanic. So I get out and I start walking down the street. A blacked out SUV comes rolling up next to me and rolls down the window as Nate Diaz. He's like, yo,
way, bro.
Yo, what are you?
Shut up.
I fucking love that story.
What are you
so
doing
dope.
walking? And I was like, man, I'm sitting at the mechanic. I messed up my tire. And he was like, well, we're heading to the new gym to go drop off a bunch of gear if you want to come with us. So I was like, bro, that's literally the whole reason I moved out here. So I hopped in the back. Actually, I got this Snapchat memory. I haven't even had Snapchat for years. And man, actually, this is a really good point. I need to get on there and see if I can get this photo. But I remember I took a small picture from like the back seat, and you couldn't even like tell who it was really. But I was just like, I'm in the freaking car with Nate Diaz. Like it was the most insane thing in the world.
Oh, surreal, dude. From Hillsboro, bro, to, one of the biggest fighters in the world at that time. And not only that, your journey to get there. It's like, dude.
Then we head to the gym, helped him carry in a bunch of gear. It was just
for
mats.
free. Like, yes, I'll do this shit right now. Get me in here, dude. I'll live here, bro. Yeah, I've been living out here.
I'll pay you guys the sprinkle can full of pennies.
Right.
But we get to the gym. I help him unload a bunch of stuff. There's nothing but mats on the floor. The gym's all tore down. It's not put up at all. It's still months away from like being open. And the head coach, Randy Spence, was like, hey, thanks so much for helping us, get all this stuff in. And we're going to train here tonight at 7 if you want to come back and do some jiu-jitsu with us. And I was like, dude, that's the whole reason I moved out here. Like I would love nothing more. So I came back and he was like, hey, good job, man. Like we're going to be training here every night at 7 until the gym's open. And dude, that was like what saved my, my California.
Oh,
that is amazing.
it's like in the you see that little meme where there's like the guy like digging or whatever, and the one guy quits and is walking the other way, and the other guy keeps going, and they're like the diamonds are right on the other side. It's like a meme.
He was like one swing away,
and you were gonna quit.
Dude, that idea right there is like, I feel like what literally never allows me to give up, because I'm like, dude, you might be one, especially with how
that's my problem at the slot machines, dog. Is I think like one more time. Oh, just one more.
Yeah. I get it, bro. Any addiction, but I will tell you, when it comes to one of those, when you're talking life just being right there on the brink of calamity or just glory, it's paper thin. Your decision is paper thin in this life. You either are all in on truly believing, then there is no coincidences. We had that conversation earlier about the Tebow, the 316 thing. When you start to look at life in the true sense of it, it's in front of us. We just choose to turn our heads to what's real and ignore the things that are actually happening and going, oh, that's just fake. No. So, that clear mindedness and stuff, for you to stay in that moment, especially for the kids at home when you're telling them, because you're not the first guy to do that, and you're not going to be the last guy to do that. It's now reaching out to somebody saying, hey, I did it. It's real. It happened.
It's possible.
This shit happened.
Yeah,
and I'm going to be a world champion one day because I told myself that. Yeah. And all this other shit wouldn't have lined up if it wasn't made, man. Come on, let's go, bro. Can't wait for this shit.
You got to buy the ticket and take the ride. You have to
100%.
You have to just dive.
That's 90% of the battle. Nobody wants to punch in.
Man, I really, really believe that there's a calling on all of our hearts. Like we all have something that we know, like, man, if I could be doing that, like that's what I should be doing in my life. And it's scary because it's completely uncertain. And there's a gigantic journey ahead of you before you to go embark on the, to actually go do the thing. And a lot of times the first step is the scariest, but also a lot of times the way God works, it's not based off of what you can see. It's based off of faith. right? And that's how he operates, is like, hey, I'm gonna put this step underneath your foot as you're moving. Like, you can't wait for me. Like, you have to go do it. But as long as you are willing to go take the chance and walk this path, I will make sure every step of the way you're taken care of, even whenever you feel like you're absolutely not. And because there's been many, many, many times where it feels like everything's going completely wrong.
I still have self-doubt. Still to this day, I think we're all gonna battle that, because that faith is a struggle every day. It's just trying, like you said, be the better person. Truly put that, that abandonment into him to say, God, you got me. Everything's going to work out to your plan, accordingly to your plan. It's hard for us as human beings to take ourselves and remove ourselves from that, because we think, I can fix this. I can fix that. When, sometimes that breaks us.
So you got 3 amateur fights now. You're training with Nate on,
that Diaz shit's
gym
still
that's
crazy.
getting built, right? How did we get to where we are now? Where'd you go from? How long were you there? How long was your 4th amateur fight? How many?
I only had 1 fight while I was in California, and I was out there. I was in California for about a year and a half. I trained at the Diaz Academy for about a year, so it was almost 6 months before I got to the point where I was actually at the gym. And so I was out there for about a year and a half. I had 1 fight, so I was 3-1 because I was 2-1 going out there. So I was 3-1 after I won that fight. And then the family that I was living with decided to go back home to Missouri, and
6 months with evidence on it. Like, California's ruined.
man, instead of kicking me out, they're such sweet people. They were just like, you know what? Actually, our whole life changed. We're just gonna head back. They couldn't take it. Me waking up every day, just like, let's go
train. Can I run? You have any candy?
Freaking
Christmas time came around, dude. They're like, Evan, you got to go, dude. We're out of Hershey's Kisses, bro.
hopped up off of Pop-Tarts every morning, heading to train.
still love a good
So
old
then
Pop-Tart.
they moved back home. Where do you go?
So I that's whenever I decided to go back home too. I was just like, oh, you know what? That's like,
Can I catch a ride with you?
yeah, pretty much. I packed. I had my car. I drove home and went back home, and I was there for about a year. And I was training at a different gym. I was training at Finney's MMA, and where I met my good buddy Dustin Lampros. He's the predator catching dude. I don't know if we talked about talked about him. Yeah,
Dude,
yeah.
can I want to apply for that job. I would love
What
to.
is it, dude?
You seen those guys online that they're like how to
like
catch
the
a
ID
predator,
channel
and
type
it's
shit?
like no, it's like YouTube or like social media clips, right? And it's like
Yeah.
they go on these weird apps or whatever, and they pose as a 13, 14-year-old kid, and then these guys are like, oh yeah, come meet me at the whatever.
Dude.
So when they think they're going to meet a kid, they're going to, and this guy's there and like slaps the shit out of him, like fucks him up in the store. And I'm like, I would love, I think I could bring a little more pizzazz to the situation. I would
So
love.
Dustin doesn't fuck anybody up. He actually is like even works with the cops
really?
and everything now. Like he's like super legit, super official, 5'6" predator catchers.
That's
yeah,
wild.
he's not like slapping.
I want the
people
guy
and
that
stuff
fucks him up.
Yeah,
Never mind, Dustin. Keep doing what you're doing, but to the other guys out there that do the fucking up thing, hit me on the ground.
Catch me outside, bro. We are different.
So I met Dustin, and he was actually training in Florida at ATT at like the American Top Team in Coconut Creek, Florida, and he went back home to Illinois where he's from because his mom was really sick and he wanted to be with his mom, and he ended up being there for about a year or two. And we live about 2 hours apart from each other, but there was a gym right in between us, and that's where we met. We'd train there pretty much every single day. I got cool with him, and then he basically told me, he's like, "Oh man, you got to come to Florida, dude. Like they got the best training in the world." And so I was sold. I was like, "All right, cool, let's go." So he went down there before me. He left before me. Actually, didn't end up going back to ATT. There were some problems there because he left, and so he had to get a different gym. He was looking for a gym, and he came across Hard Knocks which is now Killcliff, and he started training there. And he called me. He's like, "Bro, like first day there, he was like, this is the best gym."
Which was Black Zillions, right? It was Black Zillions. Then it turned into now it's Killcliff.
Then Hard Knocks in Sanford. Now it's Killcliff. But he's like, bro, so many people down there, and like Robbie Lawler, Michael Chandler, and all these big name UFC fighters I've been looking up to my whole life. He's like, bro, you got to come down here. And I was like, yeah, 100%. So he was fighting back home in Missouri for Shamrock FC, which is a small organization back home in St. Louis that we fought for like our whole little pro career pretty much, or except for the UFC. But he comes home to fight, and I was like, okay, I'll drive us back down. So he flew in and then just rode back down with me, and I just stayed on his couch for a couple weeks until I found my own spot and rented a little, room in a little bitty place and started training there. And then I had the wrestling practice where I broke my jaw. Went back home.
Listen to this.
I was back home in Missouri for a year. Rode down there.
He was just telling me about this story the other day, and it's so gnarly. Tell him the jaw story.
I was in Missouri for a year, and I went down to Florida. I was there for about 6 months training at Hard Knocks, and was just absolutely unbelievable. Every single day I walked in the gym, I was like, literally couldn't believe that I was there. All these dudes I've been looking up to my whole entire life. I was like, this is unreal. Anyways, wrestling practice, Wrestling Wednesday, one day, all the mats were freaking just packed, crazy amount of people. Somebody gets taken down, almost runs into me. I jump out of the way. I land in between two more groups, and I got to run out of the way. The mats were so full. When I jumped out of the way of the first group, one of the coaches was out or was watching. He was like, hey, whoever's out, watch your groups. Make sure we don't run into each other, so you kind of like make sure like nobody's bumping heads and stuff like that. So I jump out of the way of the first group. He says that, and I'm like, oh, these other guys are about to run into each other. So I turned around to go get in between them. One of them had gotten hip tossed, and his foot was flying through the air. And I turn around, his heel's flying, and it just hit me straight in the chin.
Oh my God.
Freaking broke my jaw straight in half.
Jaw in half. My teeth separated, broke his shit in half.
I got up, and I felt this big gap in between my teeth with my tongue. I was feeling, I was like, oh my God, it knocked out my tooth. And I went over to the coach, and I was like, oh, dude, did it knock out my tooth? And he was like, bro, your jaw is broken half. Bro.
Oh my God, dude.
And I had to run off the mat. I was like bleeding everywhere. But yeah, it felt like I had totally lost a tooth, but my teeth were completely fine. There was just a big separation in my jaw. It was like when I would open my mouth, my jaw would just like hang. It was completely split. But so that caused me to pretty much go back home. I was like, well, it's going to be a while before this heals. I don't have any money. I need to probably just go chill at home, save, a couple $100 a month in rent right now, and go work a job. Actually, I ended up working for the Castlemans, the people I lived with in California. They have a lawn care business.
Wow.
Whenever
Dude, like this motherfucker.
He will not leave us alone.
Do you think it's
God, I hope he gets into the UFC soon. I'm so sick of this kid.
Hey, these people, they were probably praying more for you, dude, than anybody. They're like, dude, this dude, we're going to start writing this dude off.
Yeah.
Like now.
Yeah, man, praise God. Like I was saying.
For sure, dude.
The amount of amazing people that have been put in my life that have like, it just seems like every single, like, no matter what happens, I got somebody that's like,
takes an army, man.
Dude, it really does. It takes a freaking huge community. And I got a good one, man. I really do. So I was working for like 6 months.
And we're still an amateur at this point.
Yep. No, I'm sorry. So I guess whenever I went back home to Missouri, I won, I guess
after Nate's team,
fights.
you went back fighting at the old team that you had in Missouri.
It wasn't the old team. I went to a different gym, and that's where I met Dustin, the predator catching guy that got me down to Florida. I had three or four fights within that time, within a year. Once I got back home, I was like, dude, I haven't fought in almost a year. I fought one time in a year. I was like, man, I got to get active. And actually, the owner of the gym, Finney's MMA, where we were training, is the owner of Shamrock, the organization.
FC,
yeah. So I was training at the gym of the guy that owned the organization that we fought for. So we're
wow.
Hey, you just
which is also a really good way to get fights if you're out there. If there's a gym owner that owns a fight promotion, you should probably train there if you want to get fights. It's going to be a great opportunity for you to get fights. That's awesome.
Definitely makes life a lot easier, especially as an amateur. Like you got no idea what's going on, and it's hard to get booked for fights, and it makes things much easier. So I think I might have had one pro fight before I went to Florida. I think I showed up at Hard Knocks 1-0 as a pro. So I broke my jaw, came home. I might have been 2-0 at that time, broke my jaw, went back home, was waiting 6 or 7. It took about 7 months to get better. I had to like let it heal for 7 months. I worked for 6 months of that time, saving up some money so I could focus on training whenever I got back, and still training the whole time. That was actually one of the best things that happened during that injury was, or because, the shifts in my mindset because of that injury was I was always kind of afraid of getting injured because it would prevent me from training. And if I wasn't training, I wasn't getting better. And if I wasn't getting better, I was never going to be the best. So I didn't ever want to get hurt. And I broke my jaw. Seemed like a super scary injury. I was like, bro, am I going to be able to get punched in the face anymore? And like, is this going to mess up my career? Within 2 weeks, I was back to running, lifting weights. And then I got back to hitting pads. I couldn't grapple, no contact, for 6 months. But right away I was just like, oh, I can always be getting
just an obstacle to pass, right? All right, I got through this. Okay.
Yeah. And then, then you get a bunch of confidence from like, oh, this seemingly really bad thing actually wasn't nearly as bad as I thought it was. And I'm still finding plenty of ways to get better. And actually, truthfully, I had the most life-changing event I've ever had happen during that time. And it's really sad for me to even think that I would even think this way, but it's the sad reality of it is before, whenever I was in Florida, dude, nothing else mattered except for fighting. I was like, dude, I got to be the best in the world. Like I got to be working harder than anybody ever. I can't take time off training, whatever. And I still was just thinking all I had to do was go to the gym, put in all the work there, and everything else would take care of itself. Anyways, I broke my jaw. I went back home, and I had a little cousin that passed away in a car accident while I was home. And she was only 19. And being at her funeral, like, legitimately changed my life. I've always kind of been like, thought about death a lot, about like, I feel like death's like our greatest motivator. It's like, bro, we only got so long here. Like we better
get
put our foot
saved
on the gas. We better get going because nobody's promised anything. And to see it like really put in my face though, like with somebody I know and I love and was young, dude, freaking 19, man. And being at her funeral, I felt like up until that point, nothing else in the world mattered except for being the best fighter I could be. And literally while I was there, I heard the audible voice of what I presumed to be God was like, I'm going to show you there's a lot bigger things in life than just fighting, And it literally, that like right then and there, I was like, shifted my whole entire focus. It was like the biggest paradigm shift I've ever had of like, what would my funeral look like if I died right now? Cause like, bro, that could have been me. Like, why wasn't it me? And what would my funeral look like right now? And I was so saddened thinking about everybody being like, man, he was a great fighter. He really worked hard. Wow. What a waste of my life. If like, that's what I left behind, And I was like, man, the same amount of effort that I'm putting into being a fighter, I need to put that same amount of effort into being like a good quality human being too. And that's whenever I started getting all my stuff together outside of the gym, of like, really kind of diving into like, just self-improvement in general, just working on myself, reading books. And that's when I started taking my diet serious and like,
transformation.
It clicked for me of just like, hey man, this isn't just about on the mats. Like this is
a life deal.
This is life.
Yes.
Life is a fight, dude.
And, shit. Yeah.
And, so anyways, that was, still to this day, I probably only had one other moment that was very big like that, but yeah, that was an enormous paradigm shift for me at the time. So, what I was saying earlier, what I'm like, man, I hate to even admit to this, but I will, is that I really think that at the time, whenever I broke my jaw, I was getting ready for a fight and nothing else in the world mattered except for getting ready for that fight. And I probably wouldn't have came home for that funeral. I've just been like, wow, I got to get ready. And that's what the best would do. That's what a champion would do, is like, nothing would get in the way,
That's the perspective on that, man. I can see it hit you hard. When you go through anything like that in your life that directly affects you more than yourself, because a lot of the times we like to live in our own, just who we are, or a pedestal we accidentally put ourselves on, and we miss a lot of the times the important shit. And I think it's happened in probably every one of our lives. Obviously, it happened to you, Evan. I know it's happened in Joe's. I know it's happened to me, where Joe's seen me at my absolute worst, man, and it is horrible. And for that reflection, shit, it was horrible. But to have that reflection and look back now going, my purpose for living is completely different. I was so engaged on things that were just these buckets. And now I went, holy shit, life's got a purpose. And I've got a purpose.
Yep.
I've got to start getting into that purpose now. Like you said, it's hammered down, man, because my kids are watching. God's watching me, what I do with my kids. And, what kind of person I'm going to be. Yeah, I'm still going to be me, goofy, crazy. I still fight my own, my own inner shit, but it's still like, hey, I'm becoming a better person. I'm still willing to learn along the way. We've touched on that with you. Learning is a thing that as human beings, we stop doing a lot.
Yeah.
Therefore, we fall short of those. So all we got to do is, keep our faith and bust our ass and, and it's amazing those blessings come from that. But, Joe, what's some of the takes you got from Evan diving into this? I mean, you're with him a lot of times with, constantly the training. I mean, but just a pure human being, what you would tell, to anybody, the audience, man, somebody that wants to work their ass off, because you've done it. What is this? What it looks like? I mean,
considered an old guy now in my fight career, but there's some life left. But at 42, when you get older and you start looking back on mistakes you made or how you could have zigged when you zagged or vice versa or whatnot. Evan zigged on all those zags that we missed a lot of the things. Evan is like, it's his faith in God and that attitude. But like, I had every physical therapist person I ever worked with tell me that I should stretch before and after practice, but I never did it, but Evan does it every time, you know what I mean? And I had them tell us, don't drink, don't smoke. I was smoking cigarettes my whole career. Like I was just kind of the polar opposite. And as I got older, you look back on the fights you lost or the choices you made when at the time you were so certain that you were just being you and that was fine. And there's definitely regrets to stuff like that. And then when I started working with Evan, I wasn't really interested in training fighters, I loved training my son and that was cool. I'm going to put all my gold into him,
Right.
And through a friend, a mutual friend of ours, they asked me if I'd do like a private lesson with Evan. And I was like, sure, I'll work with him a little bit. And he was like very coachable. He like listened and was very respectful and all that stuff. But when I found out that like he's not drinking, he's not smoking, he's not screwing around, he's not trying to be a celebrity, he's not. I just kept thinking like marking off all these dumb things that I did in my career, and I'm like, wait a second here. What could I do with this motherfucker? Like, what kind of monster can I make out of this guy? And like immediately, I worked with him. I don't know, say on a Friday, and he's 3 weeks out from a fight camp, and like probably, I don't know, that following Tuesday, he was like, hey bro, will you corner me for my fight and help me get ready for this fight? And I was like, yeah, absolutely. And like the difference and the improvement that I saw just in that 3 weeks, and then the way he went out and performed and did that fight, I was like, okay.
Yeah, right.
Let's see what we can do with this. And it has been an absolute pleasure ever since. And like right now we're here in Bakersfield to do this in the studio. It's because Evan was back at my gym in LA, and I go back and forth running my gym and living in Vegas, which is where we train. And the last 3 days watching him and my son train with my students in LA has just been phenomenal. And
I bet
he's got every quality I could want in a fighter and as in a student, and I'm like so excited to watch him.
Well, you and I talked about this outside when Evan had already walked in, where you're like, you're pretty much exactly what you said. You go, Chris, he checks all the boxes, dude. Check. And you go, I think he's gonna be a world champion, dude. And I'm like, holy shit, that's wild to think that, because how humble you are, dude. I love that. Just the humble, the faith. I'm like, dude, this. And then to actually sit here in this room with you and I and Joe, you can feel it, man. You're just around and you feel that aura. I hope that's the aura you feel like there's an aura, dude, that people can put off. And I'm like, that's what greatness, it doesn't look like, that's what it feels like. Because you know who you brought to the party. We've talked about this, be careful who gets favored.
I mean, now after hearing that story and the T-bout thing, the 316 thing, there's a lot of weird shit.
Because I've been working on this, dude, bro, hardcore since I got saved, because I was a shit show, bro. Quit drinking the whole nine, just dedicated my life to God. That's why I was kind of interested in your stepdad story, because my kids are going to have stepdad one day. And all I can do is pray that a godly man comes in their life, dude, because there's only so much I can do at home. So for everybody at home that is worried about that, that's a real worry for a dad, for a man, is you hope a stepdad can walk in there and bring that godly, that love, and your kids can see that from both sides, because there's no good or bad. There's just good. You get to choose to be good, or you can choose to be bad. So as a man, knowing that my kids will have that in their life one day, and you to be so proud of that, gave me a lot of hope right there. Like, yeah, there's some good dudes out there they're going to fill in and be men, because it's hard to get men in this world today. Sorry, but it is. And so I love the way you spoke about your stepfather,
Yeah, what's funny is the way I look at it is I have an amazing relationship with my biological dad.
Right, of course.
That's my dad, and I just got a bonus dad. Like, it's literally,
Right.
that's really just the way I think. I was just
Right.
like, oh, I just got 2 of them. Like that's cool. That's freaking
Right.
awesome. And I mean, I literally remember being little bitty, man. And I never felt like that he wasn't my dad. You know, it's just like, as far as he never made me feel like I wasn't his, is what I should have said, I guess. So yeah, man, I've just been unbelievably blessed. He's bro, I'm so thankful for my stepdad because, dude, I have the best fucking family in the world.
That's awesome.
I
All
really
the
do,
dysfunction,
man.
it's all worth it, right?
Dude, it's so beautifully dysfunctional. Like, for real, like,
I get
dude,
you.
my family's so fucking awesome. I feel like everybody in my family is just like super gentle, loving people. And my stepdad is a little rough. You know, he was always the one that would discipline us and made us work hard, putting us to work out in the yard and like all the stuff I didn't want to do. You know, I just wanted to.
Like, here comes a stepdad. He's a dick.
Yeah. And, but he was also very loving. You
That's
know,
what
it's
I mean,
like,
teaching
like
lessons along the way.
you know, it wasn't like it was always, you know, only freaking hard work and beat downs or something. You know, it was like, it was looking back now, I'm unbelievably grateful because
That was a gift he gave you. You thought he was just making you work hard. Motherfucker, you just spent an hour talking about how good you work hard. Why do you think that is? You know what I mean? He gave you that gift.
Yep. And
It's awesome.
it really is.
And Hillsboro, Missouri. We're going to shout out to him again,
That's
baby.
right,
the
baby.
Burl.
Shout out
I'm
to
still calling him
Burl.
the Burl, bro.
Burrow built. Burrow built. Burrow
Love
strong.
that. I love
Yeah.
that.
Shout out to Hillsboro, man. Represent. But yeah, man, I just have this like unbelievable duality of my family. You know, it's like I have my stepdad that was, you know, a little bit rougher and like taught me how to work hard and would discipline me when I needed it. And the other side, you know, everybody else was just like unconditional love, didn't want me to work, did do anything.
Don't work hard.
like, dude, just wanted to feed me and for me to, you know, to be happy by any means. And it was a perfect balance, you know. It's just like I got the best of, you know, both worlds.
Right.
And, super grateful. I have no doubt that, you know, there's a reason
Right.
God put my dad, you know, stepdad in my life.
Right.
And dude, my biological dad's like the nicest, like just teddy bear sweetheart of a guy, like golden heart, you know.
That's the kind of guy you seem like you are, dude. I'm just not fighting you, bro. That's it, bro. That's it.
I feel like you had, you know, we were talking earlier about like false confidence, kind of like the people that are like loud at the parties. Like
Right.
you were saying how like a lot of fighters you meet, they're like, oh, you're not that guy. Like, why you're not this
Right.
like typical tough guy, you know, badass type character or whatever. And it's like, because that's real confidence. I feel like it's just like, oh, bro, I don't have to.
If I got to tell you I'm the toughest dude in this room, I'm in the wrong room and you're in the wrong room.
Yeah.
It's real
yeah.
simple.
Really, the more confident you are, the less you actually like show it or like brag about it or whatever. This paradoxical duality that always exists, that one thing can't exist without the other. And like actually the tougher and the badder of a dude that you are, the better that you get in that domain is like, it kind of has to be balanced. And most of the
The
time
more
it's
calm and relaxed
balanced
kind of
out.
guy you are.
Yeah. So just like anything. So that you know, the good and the bad and the black and the white. So
After you broke your jaw, did you go back to
He'd
Killcliff,
fought
or did
4
you
times
just
after
go
that.
did you just go to Vegas?
no, so after that I went back to Killcliff for 4 years, something like that. So
So how long were you there total, Killcliff?
about 5 years, 4.5, 5 years.
5 years with 35 plus of the
Dude.
top UFC fighters and coaches in the world.
But, dude, legitimately, if not the best, one of the very best gyms in the world. And I'm so grateful to have even, when I showed up there, dude, I did not belong on the mats. I was not good. They really blessed me by letting me even stay. And I kind of had to like try out for the team essentially, because like it wasn't just like open to the public, you know. And they really didn't like that Dustin just like kind of brought me in and like invited me to the gym. And they're like, we'll give you a chance, you know, and see what you're about. And they let me train for a week, kind of fed me to the wolves, got the shit beat out of me. I was not to the level that all these other guys were. And anyways, at the end of the week, Henry came up to me, Henry Hoof, the owner of the gym, and he was like, he's like, man, you know, right now we're kind of closing the doors on the public and like don't really need anybody else. but we really liked you. I think that, you're going to be good to stay.
They're like beating your ass is what they liked you. Like,
Right,
hey, we got a couple guys we need to build pad a little bit. Let's throw Evan on them,
But yeah, I think that's why, I got so fortunate to stay. It was just again, the kind of undeniable part that I've always thought about. I was like, dude, if I just try as hard as I possibly can and I treat people good, I'm like,
it's all going to work out.
Work out.
Right.
Yeah. So, got fortunate enough to stay there. And then I got to learn from some of the baddest motherfuckers in the world.
And that's got to be scary because you going into it going, hey, I'm going to be a professional fighter. Here's where I'm at. Then walking in there with your peers. And like you said, 35 guys and you're going, there's this many dudes that are this bad in one spot. I mean, the people don't.
And all of them are better than you.
Every single one of them.
Earn your spot to fit in here when we are already better than you. How else can you do that besides working hard?
Yeah.
Fucking taking the lumps.
Yep. And I feel like that's kind of like what that gym is notorious for too, dude, it's a meat grinder. It's like
the name was Hard Knocks.
Yeah. Yeah.
Bro, if you're still figuring out the fine print, dude, there's no slogan needed, dude.
Yeah, there was no explanation needed.
Yeah, right.
The name said it all. But yeah, man, I spent 5 years there training and learning from some of the absolute best in the world. And to this day, super crazy grateful for the opportunity to even be there. I feel like, I say all the time that that place really taught me how to fight. Whenever I got there, I was playing martial arts. Like I was in the gym and I was like trying to learn how to do everything right because I thought that's what I was supposed to be doing. And like, they didn't care about none of that shit. Like you throw this like pretty punch, this like everything's mechanically correct. And they're just like, bow, they're smashing me. And I'm like, why is none of this stuff that I've been training my whole life work? And it's like, it's because I didn't know how to fight. Like I didn't know how to that bite down on my mouthpiece, stand in a strong stance. Like, no, dude, I'm not moving. Like I'm right here. And dude, we got plenty of reps of that while I was there. So built a super solid foundation.
It's always fuck you.
Always. 60% of the time, fuck you all the time.
Fuck you all the time. I was telling that when I first started training them. It's like, it's like, I'd tell them what to do. And I'm like, it's fuck you. It's fuck that mother. Like, it's always fuck you. Beat that dude the fuck up every time.
Right.
That's just the mentality.
Well, I can see though, being the new guy, them coming in and you kind of not knowing that fuck you shit. And then all of a sudden you're like, hey dude, that's
especially when you know that they could all fuck you up.
Yeah. We're not playing that shit no more. That's out the window, dude. We're throwing them now.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's just fighting. Like that's
right.
Again, and one of those things is like, bro, you don't get patted on the back for that. Like, bro, what did you sign up for?
Right.
And it's just, I had always, there's different levels to everything, man. There's an infinite amount of levels of like, and which is, truthfully why I love training with Joe so much is because I'm like, dude, the details. I'm like, oh my God, how have I, the Floyd Mayweather jab analogy of like, I've been throwing a jab my whole life. Like, how do I didn't have any of these details. What is this? It's like, there's so many things to do right. Just doing one single movement.
Literally master everything is.
There's so many things to do right just to stand right, which is honestly almost everything, like 90% of it.
Right.
And that's like, it's all of that type of stuff. But yeah, there's an infinite amount of levels. A way I like to think about that is like with anything in life, there's between the numbers 0 and 1, there's an infinite amount of numbers, 0.1, 0.11, 0.12, 0.2, whatever. And it goes on to infinity, and 1 representing like the totality of like understanding 100%, like this thing. And for literally anything, I feel like I think that we can argue that nothing is 100% known. But you lie on this spectrum somewhere in between. And a lot of times you have no idea really where you're at until you get around people of like, dude, I start learning from Joe. I'm like, oh, I thought I would like kind of knew some stuff. I'm like, how did I not know anything?
I don't know anything.
Yeah. And, so it's just such an infinite amount of levels. And, I hope this would be encouraging to anybody listening, especially like, I always think of like talking to like a younger me. And man, if I'm talking to any younger me's, anybody out there, regardless of fighting, like if you are trying to be better at something, understand that you are not as good as you need to be. Like you have to constantly be trying to get better and seeking out better details and improving every single day of like question if, every single thing that you're doing and figuring out how it can be better, even if it went good. That's a lot of times the most dangerous stuff. Is like
Right.
whenever things are going good. I know this stuff. I got it down. I'm winning fights. I made it to the UFC not knowing what I was doing. And
That's some scary shit to think about, bro. That's what don't be pointing at me, dude. You're training the dude,
it's all right,
bro.
yeah.
This dude is not for the streets, bro. Kids at home, stay out of the streets, dude. Our boy's bringing the burrow to your ass, dude.
bringing the burrow. Shout out to Hillsborough.
But I
Let's
will
go.
tell you, dude, with that transformation that you're talking about going through, that's scary to get to where you're at in life. Because I feel like that's true for a lot of us. We think, oh, we're here. Or this is, holy shit. You know, then you get that placement. Sounds like your aha shit moment was getting to Florida and then going there and going, I'm placed with this. Holy shit. This guy's at my weight level. I got to level up starting now. And what does that look like? And then you explain it. It's like, it's no cakewalk, dude.
And that's just like the chapter 2, right? Like there's going to be when things are going fucking great and you're, you know, maybe you get the world title one day and then there's someday you're going to feel like, oh, I made it, I'm good. And you're going to drop that world title and then you have to get up off the couch or get off the ground and go earn it again. And like, it's like a constant, like you said, you're never going to be good enough. You have to constantly be trying to get better at everything all the time.
Right.
Yep.
I think, Evan, that's where your faith, that belief in your faith comes in. You know, even though when you're at the top, even when you're, I know I feel my closest. And there's times I feel so far away, I feel like I can't even touch him. And I think that can happen, obviously, in anything. So with that being said, you know, it's like when you get there and you're like, man, I'm here, faith or world title, it's like you still got to put in perspective of how do I continue to grow? What can I continue to learn? You know, you're in a pivotal point right now with your age and the social media platform, dude, to now you guys are going to start to get to print your money. You're going to start to see those stallionaires become millionaires, that the billionaires been sucking up all the money. And that's going to be accessible to you due to the fact that right now you can talk to the whole world like we're doing right now. And you can find out about Hillsborough, Missouri, and you can find out your walk and your journey, dude, because your story's not done yet. We're just going through a couple chapters, dude. There's lots of that book, and you get to pick and choose when that book, you get to shut it. And that's the beautiful thing about what you guys get to do for a living and fighting.
Amen.
You know
Bro,
what I mean, bro?
Not just fighting too, dude. That's
Everything
that's
in life. But I mean, can you imagine the kid out there, like we were talking outside earlier, just the one kid that we all have idols that we idolize because we can physically see him. They make a shot, our football, you know, our favorite football player, basketball, baseball, whatever. And then now some kid, now you'd be idolized by a kid to give him that hope or to understand your journey it took you. Maybe you have a similar walk. You know, that could save a kid's life or redirect him to something you already lived through, man. And you're like, it's obtainable. Now he can believe in that. That a lot of times when we grew up, we didn't understand Michael Jordan had Ferraris. We were like, nobody in our neighborhood had no Ferrari. You know, shit. We couldn't see it. So your levels was like, just move out of here and then move out of here and then gradually try to get this place where you're like, man, you've had a clear conscience going into this. Here's where I'm at through trials and tribulations. You still like, I'm not done. I can see that in you. You're like, I'm not done, dude. I see you. I'm like, bro, you're ready.
Getting started.
Yeah.
We're about to go on a run.
And honestly, man, because of my faith, I'm like, as much as I love fighting and dude, this is, it's a gigantic part of my life. I mean, it has been ever since I was young. This has been my, the whole goal and dream. But man, there's, God willing, if I make it, past my fighting career, if I get to be old enough, there's going to be plenty to do outside of fighting.
Right.
Like, life is much bigger than just fighting.
Yes.
And
it's your platform though, to start off.
100%.
And God said, hey,
Yeah.
Evan, I'm going to make you, here you go. Here's my platform I'm going to give to you.
Yep. And that's what I've always thought about, is like, man, if I could just get the platform and the resources to like, I could really do some like really amazing things in this world. There's so many people that, man, I've been so blessed my whole life, talking about like how loved I am by my family and like, we weren't well off by any means, but, I was never wondering if we were going to eat. And, dude, I was telling Joe about my childhood earlier, bro, just like the coolest times in the world, and there was I've had such a good life. And I know that there's so many people that, if I get to where I want to be and can bring what I see in my mind to reality, I'm going to be able to help so many people, man. There's so many people that deserve, every single one of us, everybody everybody in the world deserves at least the opportunity, the opportunity to do great things. Cause I do think that is like one of the biggest issues we face, with I don't know if we'll ever solve, the infinite amount of issues in the world, but man, if we can help, there's a lot of people similar to what you were just saying about the social media and stuff like that. Think about how many people have been brought and given an opportunity because they had the chance to get seen because of social media.
Correct.
And there's talent and exceptionally skilled people everywhere, man, everywhere, just waiting on opportunity. And, and of course there's, much bigger other issues with like getting people food, and that might be what gets them an opportunity to go, to do something. If I like the quote that money can't buy happiness, but it can prevent pain. And man, if you can, if I was freaking, was balling out of control and it can bring this vision to reality and to do these great things that I'm thinking of, helping people not have to, worry about if they're going to have a meal to eat and stuff like that, so they can work on perfecting their craft or like just living life,
Right. And the thing is that, there's people in place that can do that for us. They just don't want us to do that. So we've got to do it ourselves. Unfortunately, but that's another blessing that we can give that glory to, that people can physically see that instead of trying to play God like, the Bill Gates of the world buying all this beef. It's like, dude, nobody's going to give you glory. And one day you're going to have to answer for a lot of this shit you're doing, dude. And good luck with that, pal. Because it ain't going to work out so well. So like I said, I see your future being as bright as the way you walked in, man. Just confident, happy, just peaceful. You can tell there's a lot of peace, a lot of fire in there too, though. And that's obviously Joe's job to bring that shit out, which I know he's got enough of him, go
It's
around for
out,
several.
don't you worry.
But
This can't come out.
He's doing a good job of it.
But I can say this from us here at the YB Normal Show, man, and podcast, we want to thank you sincerely, dude. We wish you the best. We hope after this, there's a lot of Evan Elder fans out there, dude, from Hillsboro, Missouri, baby. So we just wish you all the best in life, man. And thank you for being on the show, and good luck, and God bless you, bro. Appreciate it.
Man, thank you so much, man. It was an honor being here, and shout out to the borough once again, my family, my friends, everybody. I love you guys. And man, if you haven't already, dude, put your faith and your trust in Jesus Christ. He is the way, he is the truth, he is the life, and nobody will go to the Father except for through him. And man, getting choked up even talking about it. But dude, I one more thing real quick to say, because we did a lot of talking about how good things went, and like, how I'm trying hard to be good. But dude, I am the furthest thing from perfect, and of like messed up so much and done so much wrong, man. And dude,
bro, I love that,
man. We're just so blessed, dude.
Yeah.
But you don't have to wait to be perfect to come to God. Like you were just saying, man, you had a rough start to life, and that's what makes our testimony great, man. I'm the furthest thing from perfect, and not a single one of us are, and nor will we ever be. And if anybody's pretending to be, they probably don't know God. And
dude, that spiritual growth, I will tell everybody, and I love when you have that intimate relationship with God, which that's for the tears. I get them a lot too. I was telling Joe this stuff. When you're on fire for him, man, it's hard to fight back that true understanding. And I try to tell my kids this, that it starts with him, period, because it's going to end with him. So it's my job. Do not make my job that burden on me, the blood on my hands, because I'm trying my best to lead you guys to the Lord. And there's been a lot that I've lost now, a lot of material things I've lost for his glory. So it had to be burnt down to be built back up with his foundation. I'm forever grateful for that. So with that being said, man, you're here for a reason. There's no doubt, dude. It's just written all over you. It's amazing to look at and to watch, dude. And I'm a massive ass fan. And to never meet you and to know the man you are that I get to sit in the same room with, I'm honored. And I hope the rest of the world gets to see you in this light, dude. You deserve this light, and I know it'll be for the right reasons and God's glory. So thank you, pal. Appreciate it, dude. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Been a pleasure.
Hell yeah, Evan. Let's go.
Let's go.
So,
appreciate it. YB Normal Show. We are out, baby. Evan Ellen here. Follow him all the way through this journey he's about to go on, guys. And we'll just say your prayers for him, and let's let him do the rest, man. Himself and God walk him through this journey. And you watched it here. There's no more coincidences. in nobody's lives, and that's a fact. So thank you very much, Evan. Appreciate it. Peace out, y'all. Love.